All right, so we're going to first review graphing linear inequalities. So notice this has no absolute value. This is not absolute value, right? So if I look at this, I should see in my brain the mx plus b form, even though it's an inequality and even though I don't have letters of m and b, okay? So to graph this, I'm going to start by saying, okay, this is less than or equal to, which is a solid dot, solid line. I'm going to start at the y-intercept, which is 3, 1, 2, 3, solid dot. And I'm going to use my slope, which is 1/4, to count up 1 over 4 to find the second point on my line. I then connect using a straight line. You could use a ruler or your ID. I'm going to eyeball it to come all the way through my picture. All right. If this was just an equal sign, this would be what the graph looks like. But because we have less than or equal to, I need to shade below the line. Okay. When we talk about below, we want to think about like it being at the playground. I've said this numerous times. This is like the little thing in the middle that holds the seesaw that goes back and forth. This is where the big kid would be sitting at the star. And below this line would be underneath where the ground would be, which would be down here. Okay? Now it's asking us to list a point that is a solution. A solution to this inequality can be found on the line or any point in the shaded region. So there's a lot of different answers we could list. We could list, like I could pick this one right here, which I believe is at 5, -1. That little X that I put there. That's an example of one because it's in the shaded region. Okay, so when we say shaded region or on the solid line, that's what we mean by solution. So that's kind of the math language I need you to master to understand how to do the problems. Now, the next question they ask, is the point 4, 4 a solution of the inequality? So I go over 1, 2, 3, 4. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. This is my point 4, 4. I highlighted it in orange. It turns out that that point is on the boundary line, and the boundary line is solid. So the answer is yes, and the reason is because it's on the solid boundary line. If it was on a dotted line boundary line, the answer would be no. Okay, and you can see that right here. If the inequality did not have an equal sign underneath, okay, if that was the case and I did this, I would have an open circle and an open circle. It would look like this, and I would shade everything below. And the question is this now a solution, what I just highlighted? And the answer would be no, because it's on the no, because it's, and it should be parenthesis, it's on a dotted boundary line. All right, so it matters shading, not shaded, solid, dotted. They are not the same thing. All right. Now to pick up where we left off before, I want to go into the second page of the notes. So scroll up, okay? We want to write an inequality from the graph. So now we're going to work in a different direction. We have to identify whether we're using a y equals mx plus b form, whether we've got yo, or whether we've got vux. So when I look here, this is a slanted line. In my head, I should be thinking y equals mx plus b, right? So I'm going to write my y value. When I look at this line, this is a dotted line. and I shaded below. So this is like the fulcrum, and this is where the big kid would be sitting. So this is shaded below. So that tells me that that would be less than. The shading and the dotted line are what tell you what the symbol is. Okay? I know at the end, take a look here. This is at +4. That is my y-intercept. So all the way at the end, I can fill in +4. I still need to figure out slope, and I can put my x there. So how do I figure out slope? Well, I'm going to figure out slope. Let me grab a blue pen. By choosing this 4. And then I'm going to choose another point on the dotted line located at one of these little like crossroads, if you will. Take a look. This is dropping down 2, and this is going to be over 3. Now, I can hear your brains right now. Miss, isn't it down 1 over 3 or over 4? Down 1 over 2? Well, the problem is that the units are different here. This is down 2, this is over 4 because of the units. It does reduce to -1/2, and that's what goes in here. All right, let's try another one over here. Generating an equation, looking at a picture. Again, this is going to be y equals mx plus b in our head. We're going to start with y. Notice now I have a solid line, so I should have an equal sign, and I shaded above the equal sign, so that's greater than or equal to. I'm going to fill in slope, that's the last thing I'm actually going to use, and my y-intercept now is up here at +3. Find my slope, I'm going to choose this point right here, and I'm going to choose this point right here. Notice that both of those are at one of those little grid intersections. 3, 4, 5. So my slope here is to go down 5 over 4. That does not reduce. So that's my final answer. Lastly, over here, this is a vertical line, so I should be thinking vux. Vux is going to be x, but now I don't have equal to. I shaded to the left, which is less than. No equal sign because it is a dotted line. And the number that this is -1, so it's just -1. So my answer is, just to be clear, x is less than -1. Last part of today's notes, almost done. Yesterday we talked about absolute value. Y equals A, x minus h plus k. Right? This is our equation. You can write that here if you want to. The vertex is located at h, k, where this one switches to the opposite. This one stays exactly the same. The slope is going to be the A value out front. Okay. So today I'm going to do all 3 of these, but there's a catch in this. Notice that it says inequality. Right? So the catch in this is that when we have an inequality, all right, unlike lines that are like teeter-totters, if I have greater than or greater than equal to, less than or less than equal to. Okay, so if I have greater than, greater than is going to be inside. I'm sorry, wrong word. outside. Less than is going to be inside. Okay, and you're gonna say, well, what do you mean by inside or outside? Think of like the mouth. Okay, so like a V, it's like a mouth. What you put inside your body is inside the V. What is outside is outside of your mouth. So if I come over here and I follow what I did, I'm going to rewrite this as y greater than or equal to 1 over 1, absolute value x plus 3 minus 5. My vertex is going to be located at the opposite of 3, negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay. Now, because I have greater than or equal to, I'm going to use solid lines still. My slope is going to be 1 over 1. So from this point, I'm going to go over 1, up 1, left 1, up 1 for my mirror image. And of course, with this information, I'm going to use solid line. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Okay? Because I have greater than matches to the outside. So I'm going to shade all of this here. So think of this right here. Here's your mouth. This is the inside of the mouth. This is the outside. All right? Let's try the next one. This is in the correct form already. My vertex is going to be at -2, -3, opposite, same. Okay? But now, instead of a solid circle, I'm going to use an open circle. So the fact that I have less than is going to be open circle, and also less than is going to be inside. My slope is 1/2. So from here I can go up 1 over 2, up 1, back 2. I can go ahead and dot my V. Take a look. And now I'm going to shade inside, which is going to be all of this right in here. If you are with me in this work and you're progressing and getting answers correct, what I think you're going to start to see is your brain is going to say, this really isn't that much harder than what we did with lines. I just have to remember the vertex rule, and I mean the dotted solid line, I got that. Knowing that absolute value is a V. Like, there's a lot of connections between the different types of graphs. Let's do one more. For example 3, it's in the correct form. My vertex is going to be at +1, 4, over 1, up 4. Okay? Because I have greater than equal to, it's a solid line. And greater than means I'm going to be shading outside of the mouth. My slope is -2 over 1. So from here, I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. Solid lines. And it says outside. So here's the mouth. The outside is going to be all of this out here.